Glenda, my dear, according to the latest book of lists, I have produced 28 award-winning television commercials, so please trust me.
Scott, I love you, so of course I trust you. But I still feel that the concept of the commercials are just bloody awful. It's not you. The ad agency is restricting your genius.
You are a love. I was going to surprise you. I called New York today. I told them, like it or not, I was going to change the whole concept to our Tahiti idea.
Oh, Scott,
Excuse me, Mr. Neville, I just wanted to thank you for inviting me to your party.
You're very welcome, Emily. You certainly look beautiful today. And such a charming necklace.
Thanks. It's a sand dollar. It's sort of like a good luck charm for us lady lifeguard type.
perfectly quaint. Yeah. Now, darling, tell me more about Tahiti.
People honeymoon there.
I'm the Hemingway type. I live my stories, personal research. No way I would sit down and write a book unless I'd been there first. Oh, by the way, I'm house sitting for a couple of friends of mine. They've got a really nice pad. As a matter of fact, it's about 3 doors down the beach. Now,
Your
why don't
attention,
you and me-
please. To the graduates, our new class of lifeguards. May you float through a life of calm seas, blue skies,
And always knowing that you're shark bait. Oh, excuse me, was that a poor choice of words? Well, why don't we all just step up to the table and help ourselves to the food? Who knows, lifeguards, it may be your last.
You have a very unfunny, crude mouth, pal.
Here, Phil, don't. I'll take one. I love fortune cookies.
Come on, what does it say?
It says, don't go in the water.
Then maybe you shouldn't. I'm gonna punch your lights
Phil,
out.
don't. You think I'm afraid to go in the water just because one female lifeguard happened to be killed by a shark?
Did I say that to
Look,
her?
what happened to Kelly was bad luck. But you don't scare me. I'll show you.
Em, you don't have to do that.
Oh, so you're the one that's afraid of the water.
All right, come on, get off. You're not Lewis and you're not Dempsey.
Here goes.
What is our little nature girl trying to prove now?
I guess what we all want to believe. Death and bad luck only happen to the other guy.
Houston! I'm so glad you're finally here.
I've got papers that you have got to sign. Plus, we have to make a decision about your pork belly holdings. Then there's some real estate in Utah. There are people that want to buy, but I just don't know if this is the right time. And of course,
Nice evening. Might we make it 2 in a row?
Well, I believe we can do that.
Houston! I need you.
Oh, no, not as badly as I did. Now, look, I've got the LVF people in the boardroom now, and they're ready to sell.
Yeah, see, Murray found this nifty little company, and
Is it more important than your friend who's in my office? It's Alan Lander. She's hurting real bad.
It's like I said, LVF people can wait.
Yeah, listen, Murray, I tell you what. Now, it's a good company. You look at all the numbers and see what you think. Now, if you are absolutely certain, I want you to go right ahead and do nothing until you talk to me first.
Thank you, Houston.
Oh, Mr. Houston, am I relieved to see you?
Alice, it's so good to see you again.
You were so sweet to take the time. Did Miss Parsons tell you?
Well, she started to explain over the radio, but I think my ears were plugged because it sounded a little bit like a shark committing murder, and
Your ears are fine.
I know it sounds crazy on the surface, but, well, let me start at the beginning. You remember my daughter, Sue?
Well, how could I forget her? She was the cutest little girl I ever met. She must be at least
19.
19.
Yes, and she's not so little anymore, is she?
No, listen.
That was taken 3 weeks after she was certified as a lifeguard.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I'll bet you $1 there's been an increase in young men needing to be saved since she took the job.
Mr. Houston, I'm fully convinced that my daughter's going to be murdered.
By a shark?
Yes.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm in desperate need of a cup of coffee. Would you join me?
Oh, of course.
Okay, good. Come on. This way.
Houston, according to the news yesterday, another lifeguard was killed. Another female. Both of these murders took place in Malibu.
That's right. And they were only 20 years old. And, well, I've tried to tell the police, but they won't listen.
Now, Alice, you've worked for Houston Industries for many years now, and I know you're very good at your job. I'm also aware of the concern that a parent has for their child. But to tell you quite honestly, Alice, the feasibility of a shark as a murder weapon,
You say I'm great at what I do. I compute statistics. I figure the odds on people living, on people dying, and the odds of their having a heart attack.
Well, yeah, I know that, Alice.
Well, what do you think the odds are on 2 girls stationed in Malibu within 4 weeks, both being eaten by sharks?
Houston, apparently there are only 10 shark fatalities a year anywhere in the world.
Yeah, well, Alice, I'm not trying to be mule-headed about this whole thing. It's just that I'm having a hard time figuring out how you set a shark down and tell him, go kill somebody.
I'm sorry, it's just Sue. She's my little girl. And
Oh, come on, Alice. Now, don't cry, all right? It's going to be okay. Listen, I tell you what, we'll look into this thing, okay?
Oh, will you?
You sure? I'll read some books. We got fish books around here. Let's just, please, don't worry about it, okay?
I called a shark expert and told him you'd be there in an hour.
You Houston?
Oh, yes, I am.
Wendell Murdoch.
Oh, yeah, the shark expert. Listen, I appreciate you taking your time.
Well, I don't know what I can do for you, Mr. Houston. I certainly don't have much time to give you. But the message in the office said that you were a friend of the girl who was killed yesterday.
Well, yeah, in a manner of speaking. Listen, did you know her?
I suppose. In passing, mostly. See, I'm a bit of a loner. I find my closest friends to be fish. They don't play with your emotions.
Well, they have been known to kill.
So what are you here for, Mr. Houston?
Well, a friend asked me to poke around a little bit and see if I could find out why that shark had something against Emily or the other lifeguard.
Probably about as much as the sun or the wind. I'll give you a little free information on sharks. You know, they're one of the oldest living creatures on Earth. 6 million years old, basically unchanged. Yeah, they can be terrifying. They can also be beautiful. And sharks don't hold grudges.
Well, they do have tendency to get a nasty streak in them every now and then, don't they?
Blaming a shark for his behavior is about as smart as blaming a dog for barking. It's just nature.
Well, I'm not blaming the shark. I'm just trying to figure out why he did what he did. Now, everybody I talk to tells me you're the shark expert, so here I am. I just want to talk to you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure they also told you that they consider me antisocial. You see, as far as I'm concerned, sharks have more rights in the ocean than surfers or lifeguards. That's their home. But people feel the necessity to go out and find sharks, hunt them down, and kill them, just to prove how macho they are.
Well, maybe what we're dealing with here is a real macho shark. You see, we got 2 lifeguards that are dead, and neither one of them were shark hunting.
So what can I tell you?
Now, listen, now hold on a minute. Now, we got 2 shark victims in less than 4 weeks. Now, those are pretty long odds. Now, even an unsociable shark expert's got to have a theory on that. What's yours?
You want to know my theory? My theory is that it's people like you that make people like me antisocial.
Well, all the people I talked to about Emily loved her. She didn't have an enemy in the world. But when I tried to go beyond that, tried to dig a little deeper into her personality, they all clammed up. They're a real tight little group, if you get my drift.
Yeah, well, CJ, it's nice to have loyal friends, but we're right in the middle of a murder investigation. Now, there has got to be a reason why those 2 girls were killed.
You mean we got to find out what they're all about? Good question, but how?
Well, I'll tell you, CJ, there comes a time in every man's life where he's got to make a sacrifice for a good cause.
There does?
Yeah, I believe it's called getting into the swim of things.
Luckily, Houston had qualified as a lifeguard once before, and his certificate was still valid. Work, work, work.
Deserted out here today, isn't it?
Really? We could get arrested for taking money under false pretenses.
Well, killer sharks do have a way of discouraging beachgoers.
Damn it, Sue, do you have to keep talking about
Phil, I'm sorry. I didn't mean... Phil and Emily were, well, you know, close.
How close is close?
Well, engagement close, almost. See, it sort of happened all of a sudden. Emily was dating this other guy, and then she decided he was a real creep and dumped him.
Oh, this creep. Does he have a name?
Oh, yeah, Wendell. Wendell Murdoch. He works at Oceana Fun Park.
Oh, good old Wendell, huh? The shark expert. Well, that's real interesting. Sue, did your mother tell you why I'm out here?
Yeah, she told me. I don't know why she doesn't accept the fact that I'm a big girl now and I have to be on my own.
Because she's a mother. And she loves you very much, Sue. Now, you got to understand that. It's going to take her a little time, but she'll lighten up.
I know. Hey, listen, you don't have to worry about me blowing your cover either.
I'll take my chances.
Shark! Shark! There's a fin out there! Shark!
That's Nancy!
You better get some help. Go on, I'll try and draw him off.
I guess these sand dollars are really good luck after all. Thank you.
still wasn't convinced that sharks can be converted into lethal weapons. But on the chance that they could, he decided we should look for a common denominator among those people who were closest to the dead lifeguards. From what I could determine, there were only 4 people who went to both of Scott Neville's parties on the days the girls were killed by the sharks. So, let's start with our genial host himself, Mr. Neville. He's known as the king of TV commercial. He's produced ads that cover everything from soap suds to soda pop. And he's made millions. He throws more parties than Hugh Hefner, and he loves the ladies, especially cute little lifeguard ladies, and they seem to like him a lot, too.
That's Glenda Collins. She's one of the most sexiest movie stars. You know, I haven't seen her around in a while.
Well, that's showbiz, if you get my drift.
Yeah. Listen, CJ, isn't it a step backwards for her to be doing commercials?
Yes and no. The word is that she desperately needs the money in the short run. In the long run, she intends to be Mrs. Scott Neville.
Yeah, I wonder if she sees all the lady lifeguards as a threat.
Well, if she does, I hope Mr. Neville has a lot of hospital insurance, because a few years ago she found her second husband with another woman. Both husband and lover left by way of ambulance.
Charming.
Yes, it is. Now, this is Sam Gleason, the writer. He had a few books on the bestseller list when sex and violence were popular. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, recently he's fallen on hard times.
Yeah, I do remember him. Now, wasn't he the one that did some very fantastic publicity stunts just to sell his books?
That's right. As a matter of fact, he had a story about rabid bats terrorizing a small town in the Midwest. So he hired a plane and had them drop 500 bats over Chicago.
Nice. Yeah, what's his latest book about?
I don't know what the plot is, but I want you to hold on to your socks when I tell you the title. Shark Alley.
Oh, yeah, I met him. Wendell Murdoch, the shark expert. Besides lying to me about his relationship with Emily, I swear the man does not care for anything that doesn't breathe water or swim with fins.
No, and he has what is loosely termed a vicious sense of humor. Apparently, a professor in college gave him a low mark, so he took 2 piranhas, dropped them into the professor's fish tank, and seconds later, 87 tropical prize fish were 2 piranhas ready for the fat farm.
Good, yeah. You see, CJ, if anybody can turn a shark into a murder weapon, he can. I think he's our prime candidate. We better dig a little deeper on him. He's also got to figure out a way to talk to our other 3 suspects.
Oh, well, now that's easy, because in my last batch of information, Scott Neville's throwing another party tomorrow.
Yeah, he is a happy soul. I think we ought to invite ourselves to that one. Well, welcome to Sodom by the Sea. Yeah. Now, I wonder where our host is.
Well, I don't see him, but I do see Sam Gleason over there.
Oh, that's right. He's that author, Shark Alley. Listen, CJ, you're the literary type. Why don't you nuzzle up to him, see if you can get him to tell you all about the plot of that book. Meanwhile, I'll look for our host.
Say no more.
Yeah.
I only agreed to do these commercials because of you.
Do them the way I want.
But you said we were going to Tahiti.
Oh, darling, we are. But there are a couple of shots I need here first.
With me in the water, doesn't that bother you? There are sharks out there killing people.
Darling, I love you. I'd never let you do anything that would be dangerous.
I'm scared, Scott. You know, I would do anything you want, but I'm scared.
Come in.
Mr. Neville. Excuse me, I hope I'm not interrupting you.
Not at all.
My name's Matt Houston. I'm a new lifeguard here.
How do you do?
Yeah, pretty good. Listen, I'm from down around Newport way.
Well, I'm glad to meet you. I hate to drink alone. I hate to drink, period, but it filters reality. Will you have one?
Oh, no, thanks.
What can I do for you?
Well, you see, I've got a friend, and she's a mother, and she's got a daughter that's a lifeguard, so you can imagine she's a little concerned right now.
I don't blame her. What's it got to do with me?
Well, Mr. Neville, see, she's got this kind of crazy, far-fetched notion that the lady lifeguards were murdered by a shark.
Murdered? How does one teach a shark to commit murder?
Oh, you got me. See, that's what I'm trying to find out. Now, there's only one person I can think of who I could get some information from. I tried to talk to him, but he wouldn't. And I heard that he's a friend of yours and spends some time here at parties.
Wendell Murdoch.
Yeah, that's right. That's him.
Wendell knows sharks better than he knows people. I guess you could say he and I are friends in an odd sort of way, but I'm afraid Wendell's a different sort of young man.
Yeah, I gathered that when I talked to him.
And if he's decided not to help you, there's nothing I or anybody else can do to change his mind.
Well, it was worth a shot anyway. Thanks for your time.
Anytime.
Since he is such an odd bird, I mean, how come you two guys are friends?
A mutual interest in conservation. I agreed to help him with his favorite project, a film to stop the wanton killing of sharks.
Financial help?
No. Tips on writing the script, maybe producing the film gratis.
You're a shark expert, too.
No, I don't know the first thing about them, other than what Wendell told me. Now, the film would be my way of keeping the balance of nature balanced. You sure you want to have a drink?
No, I'll tell you, I better take a rain check. Right now, my only concern is keeping the balance of nature balanced in favor of the lady lifeguards.
Well, like I told you, I'm the Hemingway type. I live the characters I write. I do my own research. I mean, there's no substitute for the real thing, is there?
You know, I couldn't agree with you more. As a matter of fact, there's something I've wanted to ask you about for quite some time now. Your last book, Shark Alley.
Oh, forget about that. My next book, I guarantee you, is going to be on the bestseller list. Do you know what I call it?
What?
Sex on Kilimanjaro.
It has a real ring to it.
You like it?
Yeah, I do.
Listen, I'm going to be up there with those big guys. That Irving, what's his name? Anyway, Sidney Sheldon, Capote, Mailer. I mean, the cream of the cream.
Well, now, see, this is a hobby of mine, reading all those books. So if you could just give me a list of your previous titles, like Shark Alley.
Wait a minute. Hold it. The old juices are starting to run. I got it. I got it. Here. Right. 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 Your phone number.
What for?
Because you are going to be the next heroine in my novel. And I am going to make you...
Famous.
Famous!
As famous as Emily Merrill?
Who?
Emily Merrill, the little lifeguard who was killed. Someone said you were around here the day that happened.
Oh, yeah. That was a real bummer. Why don't you just tell me your phone number and I'll write down, huh?
Did you know her real well?
Yeah, no, well, a little bit, you know, Come on, what's with all these questions?
Well, maybe we can make a deal. You tell me where I can pick up a copy of Shark Alley, and I'll tell you why I'm asking you all these questions.
You know, you are a one-track, one-dimensional person. And you'd make a lousy heroine.
I'll have to make out.
Like a blowtorch at a Smokey the Bear convention.
She's hiding it, but she's scared. We're all scared. There's never been sharks in the area before. Not like this.
Well, I'll tell you what worries me, Phil, and that's the fact that this shark has acquired a taste for ladies. Not just ladies, but lady lifeguard.
You don't think there's anything more to it than chance, do you?
Well, listen, Phil, I know it sounds crazy, but from here on out, I'd feel a lot better if every time Sue goes in the water, one of us is right behind her.
I don't know. Getting to be a female lifeguard is tough, and Sue has got a lot of pride. Oh, by the way, we're having a bonfire birthday party for her after work. We're going to call it off after what happened to Emily. A lot of people are on their way down from up north. Anyway, you're invited.
I'm looking forward to it.
Dune buggies. Now, how many times do you have to tell them to listen?
Relax, all right? I'm going to handle this. Hey, wait a minute there. Hold on.
So so sorry. I'm afraid I haven't had much experience with these things.
You know these things aren't allowed in this area.
Haven't I seen you before? With your clothes on?
Oh, that's right. It was over at Mr. DeBille's house. You were running out the door, and I was standing there. You seemed to be a little upset at the time.
Was I? Well, I guess I better get this off your beat.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, I did want to ask you one more question. Now, you're doing television commercials now. Isn't that kind of a step down from motion pictures?
I'm doing this commercial as a favor to Mr. Neville. We're engaged to be married.
Oh, you're kidding me. Yeah, it's you Hollywood people. You got a great sense of humor.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, I was Mr. Neville. He's a ladies' man. You know, he chases the beach bunnies all around. Wow. Well, maybe I should rephrase that.
I don't know what your game is, Tarzan, but you have a very irritating manner.
Happy birthday, dear Sue. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Listen, it's the best party I could ever ask for. Just wish Phil would get back. It's taken such a long time for a beer run.
Yeah, well, don't worry about it. He'll be here shortly. You know, Sue, most folks say that happiness is an awful lot like hunting. When you spread it all around, you're bound to get some on you.
It's a nice down-home thought, Houston. I think I got a little of that honey on me, too.
No, CJ, I believe what you got on you is a sand crab. Look out! Listen, what's this?
Oh, that's a sand dollar. It's the lifeguard's good luck charm. I just wish I knew who sent it.
There's no card?
No, I think it got lost. Isn't it pretty, though? You know, Emily had one just like it.
Do you mind if I hang on to this for a little while?
No, go right ahead.
So give us a song.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Come on, Sue.
Thank you.
Sue, yeah.
Thank you.
I like that idea.
Oh.
Yeah, make it a good one.
All right. Try.
Why don't you get this to Novelli and have his boys at the lab take a look at it?
We looking for something special?
Well, could be anything, but if there's something in there, they're going to find it. I also need you to run a couple of checks for me. One on Mr. Happy Face and his sometimes movie star house guest.
What kind of checks do you want?
Well, I need a financial statement on Scott Novell. Yeah, I'd like to know exactly how much that man's worth.
What about the lady?
Well, I need to know how dangerous she is. I see, I had kind of an ungentlemanly-like conversation with her this afternoon. That woman's got a temper.
Well, we knew that from when she attacked her ex-husband and his girlfriend.
Yeah, but what we don't know is if that attack took place on the spur of the moment or if it was planned over a long period of time. Get everybody out of here.
You know that lifeguard, Phil Bromley, he claims that while you were being conked on the head, his car was rear-ended. That's what held him up.
Well, does it check out?
We don't know yet.
Well, Vince, don't get testy. I'm just asking questions here. Now, did the lab boys come up with anything on that sand dollar necklace we sent them?
We just got it a couple of hours ago. I mean, it's probably not even downtown yet. And believe me, no civil service lab boy is going to be down there before morning to examine it.
You relax, Vince. Yeah, well, so I suppose it's out of the question if I ask you if you come up with anything on the would-be murder weapon.
It's just a regular spear gun. I wonder who the victim was, you or Sue?
I would imagine it's me. See, I've been asking an awful lot of questions for an everyday run-of-the-mill lifeguard.
You always have to wait until the food is served.
When you gotta go, Pop.
Yeah, Vince, if it was me, it means our killer shark's got a human on the payroll. Yeah. Oh, Vince. Hear that?
You're not gonna start with that shark theory again, are you?
Well, Vince, I know it sounds weird, but yeah, it's the only one I've got, and I'm even beginning to believe it myself. At least I think I am. Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Okay, convince me that sharks can be trained to kill.
Vincenzo, siediti. The food is getting cold.
And then give me a motive. Maybe I'll buy it. No, better yet, why don't you come down to the station and look through our mug book and point out the killer shark?
You're not very funny tonight, Vince.
I'm in a very funny mood. My wife's gone to her sister's wedding for 3 days, and I mean, I never knew how hard wives had it.
Hey, Houston, take a look. Did you ever see 4 such handsome boys, eh? And what eaters? Mamma mia. Italian eaters. Ah, non c'è che dire. Grow big and strong.
I love them. But it's like living with 4 Pac-Men. I mean, did you ever see the food prices lately?
Yeah, they do put away the groceries, Vance.
Yeah, if only their father had the good sense to eat more often like this, he'd probably have enough strength to have more than only 4 sons. Ma che fa sta roba in sala? Ma che sei matto?
Think it's too late for me to run away and join the Navy?
What is it this time, Houston? I don't have much time. I got a lot of work to do. Force feeding a great white shark we caught last night. It won't eat.
Yeah, well, I'd be careful. See, I had a friend back home. He used to stick his hand in a cougar's mouth just for a joke. Well, we call him Lefty now.
Yeah, that's very funny. Like I said, what do you want?
Same thing I wanted before. I want to know who's turning those girls into shark bait. Listen, could you tell me something? Does this tank open up out into the ocean?
Yes, this shark tank opens up into the ocean. That's how we get the seawater in the tank.
Yeah, so these sharks can come and go as they please, as long as somebody wants them to.
If they did, there's no guarantee they'd return.
Yeah, unless somebody had a surefire method of getting them back again. Yeah, see, I read this nifty little article in the Marine Life Journal. If some fella came up with a theory that you could play sharks anywhere you wanted to with a low-frequency signal in the water.
Some fella, huh? Let's not play games, Houston. You know that fellow was me. And if you read the article, you also know I said I was working on the process.
Well, why do I get a sneaking suspicion that you've already done it? Now, why don't you tell me where you were yesterday afternoon, about 5 o'clock?
Why don't you tell me something? Who are you? You're certainly no lifeguard. What are you, some undercover cop?
No, I'm a question asker. And I'm still waiting for my answer.
Well, it's with a guy named Scott Neville, and you can check that one out.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Neville. You were working on your shark conservation script, weren't you?
Who told you about that?
Well, Mr. Neville did. Does that bother you? You know, Wendell, it's one thing to be antisocial. It's another to be stupid. It's been real nice visiting with you, Mr. Neville. Oh, you know what? I was looking for Wendell. I figured he might be here working on your script with you.
You should have come here last night. He was working on the script until past midnight. He should be at work now.
Oh, good. I'll check over there. Thanks again.
Oh, excuse me. I'm Debbie. I'm late for an appointment with Mr. Neville about a job tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Well, you'll find Mr. Neville right over...
Houston! Houston, I've got papers for you to sign. Wait right there.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Mr. Neville, is it? Yeah, listen, you really want that job tomorrow?
Oh, I'd kill for it. Almost.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, don't look now, but right over my shoulder, Mr. Neville's coming. Now, he's a little bit eccentric.
What?
Strange. He's weird. Now listen, he's probably going to tell you his name's Murray and he's looking for a man named Houston, but don't pay any attention to that, all right? Now, if you really want that job, come here, I'll tell you what you got to do.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard TV people were weird,
Boy, he's not just weird, he's crazy weird.
Houston, you've got to sign this. It'll just take a moment, and then you can do whatever the...
Hi, Mr. Neville.
No, the name's Murray.
I'm Debbie.
The name's Murray.
He told me you'd say that.
I have to talk to, Houston.
Oh, he told me you'd say that. He told me you'd say that.
He did.
You know what else he said? He said I should do this.
Huh? Oh, my merger.
I've got a problem. You're dealing with it. I've been waiting to talk to you for 2 weeks about this problem.
Houston, would you mind making that double or triple?
Why? Am I in some sort of trouble?
Oh, you're in clover. Look at this.
Oh, Samuel Gleason's book, Shark Alley.
Houston, I've read it. It's a blueprint for murder.
Well, how about 2 murders?
You got it.
Both female?
You got it.
Both lifeguards?
You got it.
Both by shark attack?
You haven't got it. It's about a young, rich Texan who likes to play private investigator.
No wonder the book bombed.
But this young, rich Texan likes to make other people think the shark did it.
Well, CJ, we know the shark did it. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people standing around. Well, would you quit looking at me like I'm your #1 suspect?
But, Houston, we don't have a motive here. Now, who's going to go around killing lady lifeguards?
Well, more important, we need to find out who has the ability to turn a shark into a murder weapon.
Well, it always boils down to...
Yeah, I know, Wendell. Yeah, Wendell, our favorite shark expert. I mean, he's got an intimate relationship with a killer shark that's got his own coming and going door.
And he's always experimenting with shark control.
Oh, he lied to me about his relationship with Emily.
Yeah, he's got to be the one who did it.
There is no doubt about it, CJ. Hello. Hi, Vince. Right. Well, that was Vince. He's with our #1 suspect.
He's going to confess.
No, he got shot with a spear gun. He's dead. That's 2 lifeguards and 1 shark expert dead. You still not convinced?
It's got to be the most confusing murder case in history.
How? Vince, you said murder. Does that mean you're convinced now?
Hey, right now, you could sell me on E.T. eloping with the Tooth Fairy. But it makes sense. You know that medallion you gave me to examine?
Yeah?
It took a while, but the lab boys found a low-frequency transmitter inside.
Low frequency? Well, that's just like the one Wendell was writing about in those articles. Now, maybe he did perfect it. Now, Vince, let's just take a look at something here now. Now, suppose that the killer was exploiting Wendell, just using him for his shark knowledge, right? Now, the killer was using those sharks as murder weapons to kill the lifeguards. Suppose Wendell found out about it, threatened to blow the whistle, and he killed him.
Then why would they kill the lifeguards in the first place?
If we knew that, Vince, we wouldn't be standing here like fish out of water.
Hi, Pop.
They never stop eating. Over here.
Yeah, Vince, why are we sitting over here when you kids are sitting over there?
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get in the way of all those swinging elbows. No.
I just can't stand to see anybody eat spaghetti with their bare hands.
Ecco qua. A nice dish of nutritious pasta.
Mama, we're not hungry.
Vincenzo, why can't you be more like your own sons? Of course you're not hungry. You don't eat enough to be hungry. You don't have the energy to be hungry.
Well, we're trying to solve a murder case.
Somebody was murdered?
Yeah, 2 young ladies, Mama. And if we don't find out who did it, there's liable to be some more.
Hey, ma come? What kind of policeman are you? Somebody's gonna get murdered, and all you can think about is food? Vergognati. Why can't you be more like Houston? Oh, never eat. In certi casi ci vuole anche un po' di coscienza, figlio mio.
Did you ever think that my mother was operating on a different plane?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Maybe we've been operating on a different plane here, Vince. You see, all this time we've been looking for a motive. Now, a motive for why those two girls were killed. What if the two lifeguards were killed for no other reason but to cover up another murder, one that hasn't happened yet?
Kill a third lifeguard.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5, it really wouldn't make any difference because that's not the point. See, the ultimate victim might not have anything to do with lifeguards at all.
2 murders to cover up one? Why?
Well, it's to throw us all off track, Vince, which is where we've been since day one on this thing.
Interesting theory, but I still don't have a murderer or a motive.
Not necessarily true, Vince.
Oh, you two look like the coyote that just ate the chicken. What do you got?
What we've got is Scott Neville's financial statement.
Mr. Neville's finances are the Titanic. His idea of a TV commercial apparently went out of style a couple of years ago. The man lives high, and his creditors are closing in on him.
I know how Neville feels. Did you ever try and buy shoes for 4 growing boys? Doesn't make him a killer.
Now, I would have thought so too, Vince, until I found a cash expenditure from last month. Now, he borrowed every dime that he could to buy a $10 million life insurance policy to cover the star of his latest TV ads.
Glenda.
You got it.
Yeah, and if he hasn't already, I'll bet you $1 Mr. Neville is about to present Glenda Collins with one of those sand dollar necklaces. CJ, you come with me. Vince, I want you to get a hold of the Harbor Patrol. You tell them to keep searching the waters around Neville's beach house for sharks. Murray, you drive CJ's car. I'm going to warn Glenda.
Glenda, dear, you look lovely.
Where's Scott, our producer?
Well, he said he'd be out in just a minute. All right, now look, what I need for you is to swim out about 100 feet, and then when I give you the cue, swim back in. Body surf as much as you can, okay?
Let's just get this over with as quickly as possible.
All right, people, let's get this in one take. Okay, Glenda, whenever you're ready. Action, go. Go, move it.
Miss Collins, get the hell out of that water.
You don't realize you just ruined our shot?
Yeah, well, I wasn't trying to ruin your shot. I was trying to ruin his lunch.
Oh, my God, I tried to tell Scott it was too dangerous.
Yeah, well, I doubt if he was listening to you because I think he's the one that put you on the menu with this thing.
sure tell you, that was a tasty dinner Sue fixed up. It's good to see her and her mother getting along so well, isn't it?
Yes, and nice that she feels her little bird can fly out of the nest.
Oh, hi there. We met at Mr. Neville's other place.
Yeah, we did. We certainly did.
Houston, I can explain.
I doubt it.
Is something wrong, Mr. Neville?
Shh! Quiet, Pumpkin. Debbie.
But Mr. Neville...
Mr. Neville, right. The Hollywood producer, the one that can arrange the big, fat speaking parts.
Houston, you told her I was Neville.
Hold it. You're not Mr. Neville?
Debbie, well, as a matter of fact...
No, I think what Mr. Neville is trying to say is that we shouldn't have barged in like this. It was a terrible mistake, and I promise you it will never happen again, ma'am. And sir.
Well, I'll overlook it.
Thank you.
This one time.
Mr. Neville, tell me about my part in your next commercial.
Debbie, for the last time, stop calling him Mr. Neville. The name's Scott.
Cock your pistols.
Yes, Catalani's here. I'll tell her.
I heard to come to California.
Excuse me, Annie. I just got word Houston's on his way up.
Oh, thanks. I'll call the doctor.
I really enjoyed your autobiography, Dr. Denny. Saving lives must give you lots of satisfaction.
It does. But the ultimate satisfaction will come when we complete our new research.
I just hate to cut you out of the herd, Doc, but Houston is going to be here in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
I'll be right along, Annie.
Barney, do you know anything about the test results?
No, Walter, I'm sorry, I
Leave
don't.
Barney out of this, Walter.
Kimberly, I need an explanation.
Walter, honey, roundup time, Dr. Bellcamp and Dr. Price. On the patio, please.
All right. We will continue this discussion later.
have met.
Oh, I'm sorry, Eddie. This is CJ, my associate.
Howdy, CJ, honey.
Yeah, CJ, this is the legendary Cattle Annie Hickok.
Well, I've heard of you, Annie. Houston's spoken about you a lot. He's the president of your unofficial fan club.
CJ, why don't you go ahead and give Annie the donation?
Oh, thank you, honey. See this now. Matlock, I never saw so many zeros.
Something to eat, Dr. Belkamp?
No. You? What are you doing?
All right, come on, you people, get back. Get this man some air. It wasn't my fault. He ran right in front of me, I swear. I'll call an ambulance.
No need for that. No identification.
Oh, my God. His name is Tom Chapman. He's an orderly. He was an orderly. He worked at the hospital until Dr. Belkamp fired him for being incompetent.
Now, just offhand, I'd say Mr. Chapman overreacted a little bit to being fired.
Well, after the firing, he physically attacked Dr. Belkamp, even threatened to kill him. I didn't believe that he'd follow through with it.
Why don't we go back inside?
Poor Tom.
Listen, take it easy, all right? It wasn't your fault. Listen, here's my business card. Now, if you need a witness, I'm in, all right? Just take it easy.
Houston.
Please. CJ?
Good morning, Houston.
I accept the orange juice with thanks, CJ, but I flat out reject the statement that this is a good morning.
Well, you undoubtedly have been at the hospital with Cattle Annie. How's Dr. Belkamp?
He's losing ground fast. CJ, I stayed up all night trying to figure out why this Chapman fella decided to shoot Belkamp at a party in my office with a whole bunch of people standing around and recognize him.
Well, maybe this will help answer your questions. It's Chapman's wallet.
Where'd you come up with this?
The janitor found it. Apparently, Chapman dropped it when he ran out, and somebody kicked it under a chair.
One honest janitor. Now, where do you suppose an unemployed fellow would come up with this kind of money?
Well, now, that's what I mean. It might also answer your first question, why he did it. Now, according to the license, he lives in the marina. 1400 Dolphin Way, boat slip 61.
You better get a hold of Vance, tell him what we got and where I'm headed. Chapman?
That's me. Oh, if it's about the boat, forget it. Would you hand me that for sale sign there, please? Thanks. No need to lie, anyway.
Hawaii? Were you planning to move to Hawaii?
Tom, he's was my husband. He felt that we'd worked long enough, and it was time we retired.
Ms. Chapman, have you got any idea why your husband would want to shoot Dr. Belkamp?
Because Belkamp fired him, I suppose. Say, who are you? I have already talked to the regular cops.
I'm sorry, I was just an interested party. Would you mind if I...
Yeah.
You see, the shooting took place in my office. Well, we found a whole slew of $100 bills on your husband. Now, have you got any idea where they came from?
Part of our retirement money, I guess.
Part?
Well, Tom, he said that his ship had finally come in $100,000 worth.
What ship? I mean, what do you mean by that?
I'm not rightly sure.
Is there any possibility that he was paid that money for killing Dr. Belkamp?
Well, anything's possible, isn't it? I mean, Tom's killed before, in the war. I mean, he even won a decoration.
Listen, think, Mrs. Chapman, now. Have you got any idea where the money came from or who it came from?
In a matter of speaking, Tom said that someone on the research team where he worked had offered him an interesting proposition, and he was thinking about it.
Did he say who on the research team?
Tom never said. Mister, would you do a favor for a brand new widow?
Certainly.
Would you get the hell off of here, please? I was brought up to believe that crying in front of people is not nice.
Annie just said to get here as fast as we could. Apparently, Dr. Belkamp took a turn for the worse.
Listen, Annie, look, I'm sorry. I know Dr. Belkamp being your friend and all, he must have been a real special person.
Yeah. In more ways than one. The man saved my life.
Literally?
2 years ago, I was deader than a doornail.
What do you mean, Annie?
Well, I was pronounced dead. My heart quit pumping. It actually stopped.
Dr. Belkamp brought you back.
Yeah. With the help of a wonderful new serum he developed with his partner.
Well, that's not totally accurate, Annie. You see, our entire team developed Serum 100A. What it is, it minimizes the risk factor in a heart transplant.
Annie, you mean to tell me you had a...
Ain't that a hoot? Some folks down home claim Catalani ain't never had a heart. Now I've had two.
Yeah, that's why you hog-tied me into this fundraising thing, too, isn't it? You wanted to see Dr. Belkamp's organization grow and prosper.
Mm-hmm. And now it's all over for Walter. Thanks to that varmint that shot him.
Annie, there's a possibility that somebody hired Chapman to kill Belkamp.
Who says so?
I do.
Well, in that case, Catalani is calling back her marker. Houston, I want you to find out who did the hiring.
Wouldn't have it any other way, Annie.
Excuse us.
CJ, now, Chapman's widow, in a manner of speaking, says that somebody from Belkamp Denny hired Chapman to kill Belkamp.
Well, that's my cue to go back to the office and check up on all those team members.
That's right. And since the killer was supposed to be paid $100,000...
I'll run a financial check on all of them.
Right. You got it. Yeah, and if you need me, I'll be in surgery. Denny?
Ah, Houston. Please join me.
Guess you heard about Dr. Belkamp, huh?
Yeah, tragic.
Yeah. Now, what's going on down there looks like a television show.
They're preparing a patient for a heart transplant.
Oh. Well, I'd just soon read about it.
Well, you can relax. They can't begin without the surgeon, and I'm him. It's a fascinating operation to watch.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll just pass on this one.
You know, during my first heart transplant, after I removed the patient's heart, I stared into his chest. I was in awe.
Yeah, that's something else. You know, I bet that it almost make a person feel a little bit like God, you know? Tell me something. Was your partner hard to get along with? I mean, the ornery type.
Well, not until recently. No, I don't know. Something was bothering him. We weren't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah. Well, it brings me to my next question. Now, what do you suppose is going to happen at the research center now that Belcamp's gone?
I'll simply carry on. Walter would have wanted it that way.
I'll bet you Walter also would have wanted to know the identity of the man who hired Chapman to kill him.
Hired? What are you talking about, hired?
Talking about the $100,000 that was being paid Chapman by you or another member of this research team for messing up my fundraising party by killing Dr. Belcamp.
Where in the hell did you ever get such an off-the-wall theory like that?
Chapman's widow.
That's ridiculous. There's only 3 of us left on the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does tend to narrow it down a little bit, doesn't it?
Let me give you some advice, cowboy. You just drop your investigation. It's only going to hurt the research center, and the work we're doing here is one hell of a lot more important than you're getting off playing Texas Ranger.
Emergency, sir. Can you give us a hand here?
You bet. Who's in trouble here?
You!
How's he doing? He's still out. That cowboy is not going to be too happy when he wakes up, especially when we tell him about the funeral. His.
Fill her up and check under the hood, would you?
One time, Houston. Baby's got a rundown on all our suspects. By the way, I'm going to start with the dead man's partner, Dr. Owen Denny. He's a brilliant heart surgeon. He is very flamboyant, and he loves the ladies.
Yeah, well, I understand he loves publicity, too. I mean, I see him all the time on the TV talk shows and in the newspapers. Tell me something, CJ. How's his partner feel about all the hoopla?
Well, his partner feels the way anybody would who does all the work and doesn't get any of the credit. There was a lot of tension between Belcamp and Denny.
Well, maybe Dr. Denny decided to end the partnership the hard way, huh?
That's possible.
Who's next?
Well, next we have Dr. Kimberly Price. She's very young, very talented, and very ambitious. Dr. Belcamp found her when she was a young intern, and he liked her work, so he took her under his wing personally.
Does that mean what I think it means?
You bet. Very hot and heavy affair till about 2 months ago when she replaced him for a newer and younger Romeo. Want to make any bets on who it is?
Oh, Dr. Owen Denny?
Give a cigar to the cowboy. Very good.
Yeah, that also means that she's next in line to take Dr. Belcamp's place on the foundation.
That's right. Now, this is Barney Jenks. He's the team research assistant, and he was very instrumental in the development of Serum 100A, and they're now working very hard on developing Serum 100B.
Well, CJ, what is all this serum stuff?
Well, I don't know, but it has something to do with human organ transplants.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Well, have you got anything else on Barney Jenks?
Well, just that he and Belcamp go back a long way. It was a very tight relationship.
Yeah, well, relationships have a way of disintegrating, CJ.
This is true, Houston.
But it's Catalani. Come on, she's not one of our suspects.
Maybe, maybe not, but I'd still love to know what that sweet Texas favor is that you owe her.
If you dare to tell her, Matlock, I'm gonna jerk a nut in your tail.
Hello, how are you, sweet Faye?
Oh, now, come on, Catalani. Tell me what's that secret something going on between you and Houston. Come on, fess up.
What do you think, Annie? Should we tell her?
Really ain't no big deal.
Well, in that case, I think CJ's a safe bet. You see, CJ, Annie saved my life before I was born.
Before you were born?
Yeah, my mother was 8 months pregnant. She got in a car wreck way out in the boondocks, and Annie came along and delivered me right on the spot. Saved me and my mother.
Like I said, it was no big deal.
Thank you, Annie. That's for me and a whole lot of other people who love this big robe-wearing galoot.
Oh, he's a prize package.
Morning, Doctor. I believe we have an appointment.
Well, the lady who phoned didn't mention a football game.
Well, that was just a little diversion. See, I wanted to catch you before you got inside, because I know when you're in there, there's all kinds of distractions.
I see. Okay, how would you like to proceed?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll pitch and you field questions.
That's baseball.
No, ma'am, it's murder. Yeah, let me ask you a question. Now, which member of the Belcamp Denny research team hired Tom Chapman to kill Belcamp?
Hired Tom Chapman? Who in the world told you a thing like that?
Well, it's just like the newspapers say, a very reliable source.
Just what is it you want from me?
Well, Doctor, I'll tell you. See, I already know about your off-duty consultations with Dr. Belcamp and Denny.
Let's stop playing games, Mr. Houston. I know who stands to gain the most from Walter's death. I do.
Yeah, I know that, too. But listen, okay, come on. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, hold on. Let me ask you one more question, okay, please? Yeah, just tell me a little bit about your formula, the 100A, I believe it's called. Yeah.
Serum 100A helps in the prevention of body rejection of heart transplants. Once we received FDA approval, we sold the patent outright to Dumont Pharmaceuticals.
Oh, what about your newer serum, 100B? Is there anything special about it?
Yes. Serum 100B helps in the prevention of body rejection of all organ transplants and not just the heart.
Huh. Well, that's pretty revolutionary stuff. I mean, have you folks gotten a patent on it yet?
No, we haven't received FDA approval.
Oh, but assuming that you do get FDA approval.
Yes, Mr. Houston, the answer is yes. It will be worth millions and millions.
to the foundation.
You want to tell me something else. What do you suppose your share is going to be now that you're co-chairman of this foundation?
The game is over, and you just struck out.
CJ, slow down a little bit, would you? I mean, after the ambulance ride and the gurney ride and the blackjacks, I mean, my body feels like a freight train ran over and then backed up twice.
Maybe you should see a doctor.
Yeah, no, CJ, just tell me about the financial information I asked you to dig up.
Well, our research doctors, Owen Denny and Kimberly Price, aren't exactly in the food stamp category.
You're meaning what?
Meaning that either one of them could afford to hire a killer for $100,000.
Yeah, well, how about the fellow we're about to visit here? I mean, how much does a research assistant make?
Well, Rich, Barney Jenkins, isn't. His annual salary is $35,000. His bank account is flat as a tortilla.
When you get back to the office, I want you to find out
If any of our medical friends have made large bank withdrawals recently.
Yeah.
Dr. Brentville reports Dr. Marr in administration.
Said he'd be here all day.
Yes, he did.
Oh, hi.
Hey, let me give you a hand.
No, I
Hey,
can
come
have
on,
it.
I got it now. Here.
Well, all right.
It's heavy.
I was just cleaning out Dr. Belkamp's office. There. Do you mind if I feed the animals while we talk?
Well, no, go right ahead.
Mr. Houston, this is Tubby and Stubby. And over here we have little Hank.
Yeah, well, listen, Mr. Jenks, I tell you, we're having a heck of a time on this case, and I just wanted to ask you, have you got any idea why somebody would want to pay Tom Chapman to kill Dr. Belkamp?
Pay Tom? Nobody'd have to pay Tom. I mean, if you want my opinion, I think it was a vendetta. He killed Walter for revenge.
Well, maybe, yeah, but I tell you, it's just beginning to look an awful lot like somebody hired him.
Well, it could be that way, I suppose, but Tom was mad enough to kill 20 men. It was a lucky thing that I was with Walter to protect him the day that Tom attacked him.
Now, was this when Dr. Belkamp fired Tom?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, now...
No, just a minute. If somebody did hire Tom, I don't think you'll ever find out who it was.
Well, why's that?
Just a hunch.
Well, good. I mean, have you got any clues or anything you can give us that might help us out?
No, just hunches.
Well, fine. Why don't you feed us some of your hunches?
I'd rather not.
Why?
Well, excuse me. It will maybe look like I'm pointing the finger at somebody.
Well, pointing the finger at who?
Dr. Denny.
Why Dr. Denny?
He tried to break up my friendship with Walter. Dr. Belkamp.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you and Dr. Belkamp have been friends for a long time, haven't you?
Yes. I was here long before Dr. Denny. It was jealousy. He was jealous of my friendship with Walter. It was a kind of class distinction.
Oh, well, what do you mean, class distinction?
Well, you know, I'm a lab technician hobnobbing with an MD.
Well, that's no motive for murder, is it?
No, ma'am, I didn't say it was.
Mr. Jenks, why don't you tell me something? Now, what do you think could be a motive for murder?
I don't know, Mr. Houston. You're the detective. But I'll tell you one thing. Dr. Denny is now #1 man. Excuse me?
Certainly.
Excuse me.
CJ, do me a favor, would you? I'd like to get a list of everybody who graduated in Dr. Belkamp's medical school class, would you?
Okay. What for?
Well, it's like Barney said, just a hunch.
Oh, cute little thing, isn't he?
Yeah. CJ, that's the man that killed Chapman. Call him a belly.
Thanks.
Oh, look, I'll buy it from you. Here, take all of it. Yeah, thank you. Gracias.
Excuse, please. No? Maybe you'd like to buy film for camera, too?
Jaw, yeah, it's much square. Yeah, somewhere between Duke Wayne and Clint Eastwood. Yeah, they both had this look in their eye, you know, it was similar to the same look that Gary Cooper had when he said goodbye to Grace Kelly in High Noon.
Oh, come on, Houston, would you quit kidding around?
Oh, Vance, I'm not kidding around. That's it. That's them, Vance. It's the two goons. You recognize them?
No, but I'll distribute these and I'll put it on APB. Come on.
Vance, make it 2 APBs, would you? I mean, these cretins are out to kill me, and I don't know why.
You don't know why? I'll tell you why. You want to know why?
Yeah, I want to know why.
Because you keep moseying around, you keep asking questions, you keep upsetting murderers who don't want to be upset, capiche?
Vance, I got a mosey. See, I promised Catalani.
Okay, well, let my office know we can get in touch with this Catalani so we don't need more than 5 pallbearers. Hi, CJ.
Hi, Vince. You wanted me to look into the banking habits of our suspects? Well, I just discovered that Owen Denny made 3 cash withdrawals in 2 months. Total amount, $100,000.
The exact amount that Chapman was paid to kill Belcamp.
Right.
I think it's about time I paid another little visit to our good doctor, Owen Denny.
It's safe to enter, Mr. Houston. I'm all through cutting for the day.
Is that another one of your heart transplants?
Sure. 20 years young with congenital heart disease. Before surgery, I had 2 months to live. Now, could outlive us both.
Oh, that's something. You know, I really admire your ability and what you do. I think it'd be a crying shame if you couldn't continue.
Well, why wouldn't I continue?
Well, you see, inmates aren't allowed to operate in prison.
Prison inmates, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about murder. You see, Chapman was to be paid $100,000 for killing Belcamp, and you know what? That's the exact amount you've taken out of your bank account over the past few months.
Come off it, Houston. I'm a wealthy man. I make a lot of investments.
But those investments aren't usually made in cash, are they?
Well, the kind you don't want to pay taxes on are. Besides, what I do with my money is none of your business.
Finding out who killed your partner is.
You better make that was. Houston, either you get off my back, or my lawyer is going to be talking to a certain judge about you. A judge who just happens to have a daughter in desperate need of a heart transplant.
Mr. Houston, Mr. Matt Houston, please pick up a white paging telephone.
Houston.
Hello, Houston. I've located that graduating list of Walter Belcamps. Now, what am I looking for?
Barney Jenks.
The lab assistant? He isn't even a doctor, is he?
Well, I'm not sure, CJ, but I tell you, when I was looking at the graduating class picture in Belcamp's office, there was Barney standing right next to Belcamp, big as life.
Well, he's not on the list.
I'll tell you, CJ, maybe it's about time that I did a little operating on my own. Have you got Barney's address there? I got it. I'm gone.
Barney Jenks lives in an apartment building near the beach. Finding the apartment is no problem for Houston, but finding a way into Barney's apartment is.
Excuse me. How you doing today? Listen, I tell you what. You look like you'd like to take a very long, expensive lunch break. Say, maybe at the Brown Derby, huh? Maybe cocktails at Perino's, maybe a supper at Chasen. Yeah. How'd that be, huh?
You know, you sure don't look like an exterminator.
Well, right, ma'am. That's why I'm so good at my job. See, the bugs don't recognize me either. They don't think I look like the enemy at all, yeah. You see, that's why I don't even have to sneak up on them anymore. I got him.
Oh. This is Dr. Jenks' apartment right here.
Doctor.
Since the manager didn't tell me you were coming. I'm gonna have to stay here while you do your work.
Oh, ma'am, I can't tell you what a pleasure that'd be. See, it gets real lonely talking to Bugs. You know, Mr. Jenks never told me he was a doctor.
Oh, well, look at that wall. And he's got more diplomas than Trapper John.
Yes, he does. Well, I guess that's how he knew.
Knew what?
Well, that this apartment had rats with rabies.
Rats? With rabies?
Mm-hmm. Listen, I tell you what, if any of those little boogers get past me with white foamy mouths and little sharp teeth, you just run them into the corner there and give me a shout, would you?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go back to my apartment. Why don't you just call me when you're finished, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Glad you stopped by, Annie.
It's a pleasure, Matlock. I wanted to talk to you anyway. Seems like you've been ruffling more than your share of feathers.
Well, it sounds like you've been talking to Dr. Denny.
Yeah, and he is hotter than a spring jalapeno. He wants me to take you off the case.
Well, it's a little late for that, Annie. See, I think I discovered the reason why Dr. Belkamp was killed.
What's this?
It's all hell about to break loose, Annie. That's a letter from the FDA addressed to Dr. Belkamp. Now, it states very clearly that your new Serum 100B is no good. It's totally useless.
Where'd you get that letter?
Barney Jenks' apartment, along with a whole bunch of other good stuff.
Matlock, that Serum 100B has got to work. Why, the research team tested that out in every possible which way. Walter told me it was blue perfect, and I believe him.
Fine, Annie, but what I need to know is why Barney's got a letter addressed to Dr. Belkamp.
Well, that's easy. All the Foundation mail went to him so he could weed it out.
So there's a possibility that Belkamp never saw that letter at all.
I would bet on it. If he had read it, he would have told me so.
Well, Annie, I got myself an idea.
Well, then don't just sit there. Start making tracks. Stir your stumps.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Denny, please. And hurry. Owen? This is Annie. We've got big trouble.
Dr. Grenfell reports Dr. Marr in administration. Dr. Grenfell reports Dr. Marr in administration.
Barney, you happen to know where I might be able to find Dr. Price and Dr. Denny?
Well, I have a hunch you're in Denny's office, last door on the right.
Thank you, Barney.
Pleasure. Good, Oscar. Very good.
This is Mr. Abrams, the heart transplant patient.
Oh, yes, the patient. The operating team's waiting for him.
Dr. Baddam's surgery. Nurse Webster reports Dr. Baddam's surgery.
Don't panic. Just stay calm, Houston. It's all a little mix-up. All you have to do is tell them. Just say, hey, fellas, I'm just fine. My name's Matt Houston, and you're about to make a real bad mistake here.
All right, Michael. Let's put him all the way under.
Sure, it looks bad. Don't panic. You just gotta talk to him. It's a simple use of the throat, lips, and tongue. Yeah. Oh, boy.
We're ready, Dr. Denny.
How we doing?
All systems go, Doctor. He's all yours.
Anybody hear how the stock market's doing today?
No! Benny! No!
A little more, Matlock. How do you feel now?
Oh, Annie, I feel like I've been rode hard and put up wet. Looks like I owe you another one.
I'm sorry, Houston. I didn't know it was you. I never even looked at your face.
You see, I phoned Owen, and then I came over to show him the letter from the FDA.
Well, I never saw that letter until Annie showed it to me. Those FDA findings are totally wrong. Our serum does work.
Hey, well, listen, you must have copies of the test results around here somewhere. Where do you keep them?
Well, Barney's lab.
Oh, would you mind if I took a look at them?
Sure.
Oh.
Now, if you're too rocky, you latch on to me.
No, I'm fine. Yeah, that's what I thought. You know, thanks, CJ. Listen, you better call Vance. Tell him to hightail it over here, too.
Well, this isn't the correct data. I don't understand.
Yeah, well, I do. Somebody switched him.
Who?
Dr. Barney Jinks.
Doctor? Barney's no doctor.
Well, what he is and what he thinks he is are two different things.
Would you care to translate that into Texan?
I'm sorry, Annie. It's just, well, Barney's apartment is a medical shrine. I mean, it's wall-to-wall medical diplomas, and all of them are fake and all of them are forged.
Why?
Well, it seems like Barney was almost a doctor. He went to school with Dr. Belkamp. And the problem was, Belkamp graduated and Barney didn't. He was kicked out and sent to prison 3 weeks after the class photograph was taken, 1 week before graduation.
What for?
And why did Walter hire the man for such sensitive work?
Because Walter felt sorry for me. Walter was my best friend. We went to school together, from two different worlds. His folks rich, my folks poor. I had to steal drugs from the college pharmacy to pay for my tuition. And I got caught.
So Walter hired you after you got out of prison?
He hired me as a lab assistant. And I did more to perfect those serums than any of you doctors. Yet you took all the credit for it, and you took all the money for them.
Barney, the money from 100A serum went back into the foundation.
Maybe, Annie, but the credit for the development of those serums didn't.
That's when you decided to cash in for yourself, huh? On the new serum, 100B. You secretly sold it to a pharmaceutical company. You sent the FDA some doctored-up lab test using Dr. Belcamp, Price, and Denny's name on it.
How'd you know that, Houston?
Well, it's really quite simple. See, old Barney there's got a nasty habit of leaving sensitive paperwork around his apartment. $500,000, Barney. You sold out cheap. Well, of course, you did have to pay Chapman off, and you still got to pay your 2 clowns.
Barney, why did you have Walter killed? He was your best friend.
He was my best friend, Annie. He was gonna turn me in.
Okay, folks. Nobody panics. We got a van out back, and we're all going bye-bye.
No problem, fellas, 'cause I know how rough you can be.
Don't worry, Matlock. These fellas are hobbled. You go get Barney.
Here's something else, Annie. Get out of here. Come on. Come on.
Houston, what in the name
Just missed him, Vance. The doctor's out.
You know that I brought Mama an onion from Vidalia.
Look happy, Houston?
Well, happy? I mean, this is my overjoyed look, Vance.
Vince, Houston and Annie just got back from their last fundraiser.
Meaning that Houston doesn't have to make any more speeches.
That's right. I tell you, it's going to be the last time I have to sit through a main course of mystery meat and mashed mush. Speaking of grub, where's Mama?
She'll be right out. She's got a surprise for y'all.
How do you all?
I told you.
Mama, you look great. Have you been taking her shopping or what?
Isn't she beautiful? Honey, you make the yellow rose of Texas blush to pink.
Hey, you ain't seen nothing yet, partner. Okay, you saddle tramps, move it out, pronto. A special pizza for Catalani. Oh, wow, it's Texas! The pepperoni is Dallas, the olives is Lubbock, the green peppers is Galveston, and the mushroom is San Antonio. He was Catholic, you know.
But Mama, where's Houston?
The meatball.
The meatball?
Monsieur. The meatballs. They're always the best. Houston.
cock your pistols.
Hello, Chad. Good evening, Miss Lennox.
What can I tell you? I just had this craving for some teppanyaki.
I hear you're serving the champ's table.
Yeah, that's me.
You don't seem too happy about it.
Serving the champ I'm very happy about. He's a great tipper. Now, it's working for the guy who owns this place that has me teed up. You know, for 5 years I've been here, and still he treats me like an apprentice.
You okay?
I'm dizzy. I've got to get some air.
Rock, we've got to talk.
Marcia, please.
Darling, let's relax, huh? Could you call the exchange and see if there are messages from the hospital?
I'll be right back.
Enjoy. Mr. Lennox, enjoy.
Hey, Mr. Lennox.
All the best to you.
No. The doc and his lady gonna sit here. They'll be fine over there.
Sure, champ.
Well, look at him. The chump. For now, that is. Not after Saturday, though. Bubba Dex. Gonna be the next champ. You got my personal word on that.
Well, wait a minute, Bubba. Why don't I go out to the car and get the accordion? I mean, if we're gonna do the act, we might as well have some music, right?
It's not worth it, champ. You know that.
Honey, please don't.
Please.
Don't.
Oh, please. Not here. This way, please.
Take it easy, champ. Come on.
You set that up, didn't you? Photographer and all.
Yeah. I wanted you to have a little look at the creative promotion that you're gonna lose, champ. Now, those pictures they just took. And not just for the sport pages. They're for the front page. They're gonna be in every newspaper in the country. I'm the best promotion manager you'll ever have, champ.
Yeah, well, after Saturday, the only way I'm ever gonna see you again will be as a sparring partner.
Come on, darling, please. No more upset. We came here to enjoy ourselves, huh? Rock.
I've got them in the other room. By the time they get their check, you'll be on your way.
No sweat, Sam. Just a sideshow.
We've got to talk.
Houston! Janie Lennox is here.
She's early, CJ. I'll be there in a minute.
Okay.
She was murdered by mistake, Mr. Houston. That man was trying to kill my husband.
Well, that's a pretty big jump, isn't it, Mrs. Lennox?
It's the third time something's happened in the last 2 weeks.
There have been other attempts on his life?
Someone tampered with the brakes of his car a week ago Tuesday. All the fluid was drained out. He told me that it could have been a loose piece of pavement ricocheting up from underneath the tire. Maybe I wouldn't have thought any differently, but last Sunday, I'm sorry.
No, listen, it's all right now. See, can I get you a drink or something?
No, I don't drink, Mr. Houston. Well, I mean, that's not exactly true. The Rock, he doesn't like it when I drink. He's kind of a stick in the mud that way.
Hey, listen, you were talking about last Sunday. You want to go on with that?
The Rock likes to shoot on a target range. He says that it relaxes him. Somebody out there took a shot at him. If he hadn't turned to talk to me just then, it would have killed him.
Mrs. Lennox, do you think this has anything to do with the coming fight?
I don't know. All I know, Mr. Houston, is my husband won't let me go to the police. And I'm just so scared. Can you help me, please?
I'm sure gonna try. All right?
Client was right. Marsha Bingham was killed by mistake. But The Rock wasn't the victim. The proprietor here, Sam Shima, was.
Well, this is beginning to look like one of those TV game shows. I mean, will the real intended victim please stand up?
Shima was the real intended victim. The chef who threw the knife, and he had a real nasty argument.
Nasty enough to slice up his boss instead of the bean sprouts?
From what I hear tell, this guy has a real hot head. But the arresting officer said that he was a piece of cake.
You mean you already picked him up?
I thought you knew. We found him in the middle of the street last night, stumbling around.
You mean like he was drunk?
He was putting on the dazed look, acting incoherent, babbling, probably setting up himself for a insanity defense. Take it easy.
Yeah, later, Vance.
Houston, you've got that something's very wrong here look on your face.
Well, CJ, it just is not right to me. I mean, anyone with the talent to throw a knife the way they did in here last night is probably not going to hire himself out for brake line work, meaning the champ's brake line.
Or take a shot at him at a shooting range.
That's right, CJ. I mean, I've seen the chefs work in here before. Now, they have to be very skilled, very precise, and have to have an awful lot of concentration going for them. Now, if this fella was as disoriented as Novelli says he was when he picked him up, he'd have cut his fingers off before he could ever draw a bead on the boss.
But Houston, he was the chef at the table, wasn't he?
Was he, CJ? I mean, think about it. Now, we know Rock and his party had to be very preoccupied with watching the chefs do their show. We know the owner was because the place was packed.
In other words, what you're saying is that everybody saw a chef at a table, but nobody was really paying any attention. So the hothead that the police officers arrested could have been just about anybody.
It's food for thought, CJ.
That's a terrible pun, Houston.
Yes, it is.
Hear it this way. I say there are puzzles here. The Rock is a 6-1 favorite, and yet he seems, yes, I have to say, yet he seems intimidated by challenger Bubba Dax and his histrionics. The Rock's no youngster. He's been the champ a long time. There are those who
shake hands for the photographers, gentlemen. Shake hands.
Shake hands with a chump. Man, I don't shake hands with people I don't respect. I make them bleed.
Fine, I'll see you in the ring.
Hey, punk, don't turn your back on me. Over to her.
Come on, take it easy, break it up. Look at one split lip or cut eye and you throw the match away.
Come on, we can go at it right now, man. Huh? We ain't gotta wait till fight time. Right here.
Of course, it was going to...
Right here, right now. I'll knock him out, man. I'm gonna surprise the world. I'm gonna knock you out.
I don't want to hear what a terrific promoter you are again, man.
Well, you want to think about it, because if it wasn't for me, nobody would even know your name. I put this package together. I made the deal for the pay TV and the cable. I promoted the T-shirts and the breakfast food endorsements and all those other little goodies. I did all of that.
Yeah, well, what else did you do, huh? The accountants are looking the books over right now, and the ripples I'm hearing ain't none too good. You go steal for somebody else.
Take these.
Look, I can explain all that, champ. You're not gonna ruin me, Rock. Listen, I worked 10 years getting you the breaks, but I can turn it around real quick.
Excuse me.
Hey, we're having a conversation here.
Seems like it was getting a little one-sided there at the end.
Oh, really? Well, just who are you? What do you want?
Well, I'm sorry. My name's Matt Houston, and, well, I'm looking into the possibility that that knife that was thrown last night was intended for the Rock.
The police say the chef was responsible, an argument with the guy who owns the place.
Well, I think the police are going to find out that they're wrong, and they're going to expand their investigation a little bit. And, you know, I'll bet they'll even want to talk to you.
Anytime. I'll be around.
You're Dr. Kolzak, aren't you? Yeah, the sports doctor. Listen, I saw you on a television talk show. You're great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Listen, you were with The Rock last night. Have you got any ideas about what happened out there?
I haven't been able to think about it. The murdered woman, Marcia, she was more than my nurse. She was very important in my life, Mr. Houston.
Yeah. My sympathies go out to you, sir.
She was loved by everyone. Now she gets in the way of a knife. Tragic accident.
No, because somebody's trying to kill The Rock.
Where did you get that notion?
Well, Janie Lennox, The Rock's wife. I mean, she told me about all the attempts on his life.
I'm afraid Janie isn't a very reliable source. She's a sick woman.
What do you mean, sick?
An alcoholic.
Are you trying to tell me that you don't think those attempts really happened?
Oh, there was one. It's just not that Janie Lennox is an alcoholic. Mr. Houston, she's a violent drunk.
Well, how violent?
Enough to attack her husband with a butcher knife.
Lennox? Janie? Matt Houston. Anybody home? Janie? 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 Seems like the lady fell off the wagon after a screaming match with The Rock. After I took the knife out of her hand, all she could say was, "I'm sorry, Rock. I'm sorry, Rock."
Not I'm sorry, Mr. Houston, or...
Kind of weird, huh?
What's weird is that she doesn't try and get some help.
It's because she won't admit she's got the disease. What'd baby come up with?
Well, Kip Williams. Now, he had to pull quite a few strings to cover up the attack on Rock, and he has a police record from the time when he hired a hood to beat up on one of his first clients.
That's because the client was threatening him with one of those independent audits. I mean, the Rock's doing the same thing right now.
Well, some people will do anything to keep from being audited.
You're telling me? How do you think I lost my hair? Sign here, initial here and here.
Murray, what's this?
The latest line in the Lennox-Dax fight. A slight overnight shift. The champ was 6-1, now he's down to 4-1.
Listen, Murray, you're the sports expert here.
Well, statistics are my life, so naturally I know everything there is to know about sports.
Yeah. Well, tell me something. If something happened to the champ, who'd be next in line to fight Bubba Dax?
Second-ranked contender, Danny Gonzalez. Bubba do a lot better with him than The Rock. A whole lot better. Come this fight, The Rock is going to blow him out of the ring.
Oh, right, Murray. There you go. Don't forget your pen. Yeah, listen, CJ, now suppose I am Bubba Dax, and I know the champ is gonna blow me out of the ring, unless I can figure out a way to eliminate him before I ever step into that ring. Now, I know the next logical fight is Gonzalez, and I know I can whoop him. CJ, there are millions of dollars at stake in a championship fight. Now, I could be set up for life.
Well, it's a good motive.
Yeah.
Now, Dax has a history of assault. Go back to his days in diapers, and he learned to box in prison.
Well, if it's not the good sports doctor, Dr. Warren Kozak.
More of a celebrity than most of his clients. Runs with a very fast group, jet-set, movie stars, married more times than Zsa Zsa, that sort of thing.
Mr. Lennox, I'm sorry. You can't, if you don't
Houston!
have an appointment, Mr. Lennox, this is not...
Champ!
What the hell have you done to my wife?
I wasn't aware I'd done anything.
She's off the wagon, man. I had her sober, her head was together, and all of a sudden you're on some kind of case the cops have already solved, and my wife got a quart of booze in her.
Look, Janie came to me because she was very worried about you.
And instead of telling her there was nothing for her to be worried about, you got to make a big deal out of a bunch of accidents could have happened to anybody.
Yeah, but it didn't just happen to anybody.
Hey, my wife is not a strong woman, Houston. Or didn't you notice? She cracks easy, she breaks easy, she scares easy.
Why would Matt Houston want to scare your wife?
How the hell do I know? They tell me you rich, so I guess it ain't some kind of money scam. Maybe you're one of those guys who like doing head trips on people. Don't make no difference. You're fired.
Now, listen, I tell you, only my clients can fire me, and you're not my client.
Stay away from my wife, man. A word to the wise.
Houston, you must pack quite a wallop.
Houston, you just staggered the champ. I don't believe it.
Well,
Staggered? You staggered the champ? Maybe he wavered, deciding whether to have you for breakfast or lunch.
It seemed like he lost his balance for a second.
So he tripped.
Are you sure I couldn't have hurt him? I mean, that was a pretty good punch I gave him.
Mr. Houston, what do you do when you get up in the morning?
Well, I generally read the newspaper, then I swim some laps in my pool.
Well, the champ, he runs 10 or 12 miles, and he hits the heavy bag and the speed bag on and off all day long. And then for variety, he gets in the ring with other guys that have the same daily routine. And he lets them try and hurt him. Your conscience can be clear, Mr. Houston.
Yeah, I tried to tell my associates that. I mean, there's no way a normal guy can hurt a professional boxer.
That's right.
Yeah, unless maybe that professional boxer has got some kind of medical condition.
Well, if there's one physical condition I know inside and out, it's the champ's. Here, let me show you. We should all be in that kind of shape.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. This is all Greek to me, so I think I'm just gonna have to take your word for it, but I did have to double check.
You mean it's something I should double check?
I would appreciate it.
I'll show you out. I started cleaning her desk up, putting her things together, but I just wasn't up to it.
Pretty girl.
It was very special. We had the church booked for next month, the 23rd.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
got it. It was nice.
You got it.
Take a break.
Over Dax. Talk to you for a minute.
Man, you're breaking my concentration. No more autographs.
No, I'm not looking for an autograph, partner. I just want to talk to you for a
You
minute.
better say what you're doing here, or he's gonna pick you up and turn you around.
Oh, no, that's not necessarily. My name's Matt Houston. I'm a detective, and I'm working on Marcia Bingham's death.
Well, maybe we better talk.
I think so.
Joe Louis was a quiet champion. He died broke. Muhammad Ali, he shook him up. Now understand this. The loser of this fight will take home $3 million.
So what you're saying is basically this whole thing's a hype. I mean, the animosity between you and The Rock, huh?
Well, ain't no love between us. I won't lie to you about that. This is business. Man, this is my chance.
Well, I tell you, somebody I know said you'd have a much better shot at Gonzalez.
So you figure I'd have somebody throw a knife at The Rock to take care of that for me, huh?
Well, the thought had crossed my mind.
4-1. 4-1. I may be 4-1, but The Rock is gonna know what it feels like to hurt. Man, I'm in better shape than I've been in my whole life. I'm gonna surprise the world, man. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. Kill him. I'm gonna kill him. But legally.
Legally is much better. It's the way to go, yeah. Excuse me, Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, hold up there a minute. Kind of like to talk to you. Mr. Williams, wait. Mr. Williams, listen, I just want to talk to you from that there, all right? Now, hold up a minute.
Taking off in such a hurry?
Kip Williams.
Well, what's he doing out here with the opposition?
Very good question, CJ, and I intend to find out. Now, what brings you out here?
You have a phone call from a gentleman named Ukio Kanui.
I don't believe I've ever met a man by that name.
That's because you haven't seen the list of knife throwers that Baby has compiled.
What do you want?
He wants to talk to you about the murder of Marcia Bingham. Now, how fast can you get to Little Tokyo?
beginning to feel like Jack the Giant Killer. Every time I take a swing at somebody, they collapse.
Come on, Houston, you didn't kill this guy. The stuff from his locker confirms what the coroner said. It's a strong possibility he died from an insulin overdose. The man was a diabetic.
Vance, I talked to CJ. Now, if Baby's facts are straight on this fella, he's about as cold-blooded as they come. I mean, to set up that stunt at the steakhouse, posing as a chef at Lennox's table.
Houston, we have no proof the guy we took out of here is the killer.
Vance, he's got to be the killer. I mean, think about it. I mean, he's known for using knives. I mean, he sets up this whole trap for me out here. I mean, the fella you picked up certainly didn't do it.
What are you looking for?
The connection, Vance. I mean, here I am fighting with this fella. He stands up, staggers, and he falls. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Now, the chef that you picked up...
Mr. Akira.
Right. Now, he was reported to be in the same condition, staggering around. He was incoherent also.
Yeah, but Akira was not a diabetic on insulin.
But I bet you $1 he was on something, Vince, whether he knew it or not. Now, you're gonna have to cut him loose, at least set him out on bail. And when you do, I've got to talk to him.
I felt sick. I was on my way to Mr. Lennox's table. All of a sudden, the room started spinning. Thank you. I thought I was going to suffocate, so I went out for some air.
Right. Now, before all that, can you remember anything different at all?
There wasn't much to remember. I got into an argument with my boss, Mr. Shima. I got angry, I lost my temper.
Yeah, and that happened in the kitchen, right?
Yes. Then I thought to go back to my table. Better to work it out, I thought, not to brood.
But you never got back to Rock's table.
No. Another chef must have taken my place.
Listen, I want you to think real hard. Now, did you eat or drink anything different before that happened, just before it happened? No, I mean, did you feel anything different, like a little scratch or a bite or a...
Yes. Yes, it's funny that you mention it, but I was passing by one of the chefs, and I felt this pain on my leg.
And that's when everything went dizzy, right? CJ, I knew it. Now, think real hard. Now, what did the man look like, the chef?
I can't. I only saw his back.
I'll tell you something. Novelli's probably got a mugshot of that man, and if he does, it might just jar the memory of all the folks at the table that night.
Janie, do you recognize this man? We think he's the one who threw the knife. He died last night.
I think it was him. I think he was the chef. Oh, I don't know. There was just so much commotion going on that night, you know, with all that stuff with Bubba Dax and all. Did I really come at you with a knife?
You really weren't yourself, Janie.
Wasn't I? Well, I mean, you know, I can really tie them on, you know. But when it's time to stop, it's really time to stop, and I'm gonna have to do something about that.
You'll never stop. You're an alcoholic.
No, now, don't say that. I'm not an alcoholic, crying out loud.
What are you then? A social drinker? Maybe you started out that way. Maybe other people are, but not you. You're an alcoholic.
No!
It's no secret to anybody, Janie. You're a drunk, and you'll never be anything else until you admit it.
No!
Houston, you got about a minute to get out of here or wind up in a hospital.
You know, it seems like you love the lady an awful lot. Except you want her to be strong enough to ask for help, and you can't do that.
I don't need help. All I need is you out of here.
So what are you gonna do? You gonna punch me in the nose? Show me that you're a tough guy, huh? Show me how strong you are? Well, do me a favor. Teach her how to be strong, would you?
Please.
All right. So the lady drinks a bit. I know that's the phrase they seem to use. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Man, she is frightened. She's been frightened for years. Every time you climb into the ring, she knows there's another guy waiting there who's gonna do his best to bash your brains in. If that's not enough, now you got somebody trying to kill you. And you're too damn mule-headed to ask for help. I tell you, you two are a real pair. Both of you drowning. Too proud to ask for help. Well, I'll tell you something. Unless one of you asks for some help, I don't believe either one of you is gonna survive this thing. Now, CJ, The Rock promised Janie that this was going to be his last fight, win, lose, or draw. And he also said he had an awful lot to talk to me about, but only after the fight.
Well, I'm happy for Janie, and as for his talking to you after the fight, it makes perfect sense.
Well, does it? I mean, think about it. Why is he putting me off? I mean, what's he got to hide?
Well, you asked me first.
Yeah, I know, CJ. Listen, I just got this problem. See, now, Dr. Kozak is The Rock's doctor. Now, Marcia Bingham, the dead woman, is that doctor's nurse. Now, I think we ought to look a little deeper into Marcia Bingham.
You're inferring she was the intended victim.
The thought had crossed my mind, yes.
That would change everything.
Yes, it would.
Now, Houston, hold on. This is not your normal line of country, so you be careful.
Yes, it will. Oh, hi.
Bye.
I didn't know a man's features could twist themselves into a question mark. What's on your mind, Murray?
Yesterday, the odds on The Rock were overwhelming, as they should have been. Bubba Dax is not in his league.
And they dropped a little bit more?
Now they dropped a bit more. And big money is coming in. The latest line at Fat Lenny's is 3-2 for Bubba Dax.
Murray, check that out, because that means somebody knows something we don't know. We better figure out what it is fast and tell Houston, because the fight's just in a few hours.
This ought to cover the damage. Tried all day to talk to The Rock, no luck. Got to tell him what I found out before it's too late.
say? The Dios.
You can say that again.
Ladies and gentlemen, this preliminary fight has turned into a real slugfest.
Got it, baby. Get it to him, bud. Come on. Looking good. You're looking good tonight.
Somebody better help that boy, baby. I'm gonna kill him.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
CJ, you wanted me to check on where the bets against the Rock are coming from. Hold your hat.
They all come from one man.
One man. All different bookies, here to Vegas, but one man. How did you know?
Well, I figured it was the same man who was in the Army with a certain knife throw. It all traces back to Kip Williams.
That's right. The Rock's own promoter is betting against them.
You got it.
Houston.
Houston, what happened to you?
He just got himself out of a very messy situation.
What, you want to run that by us again?
Well, CJ, somebody up there likes me, somebody down here does not.
Huh?
Yeah, Murray, it's a long story. You had to be there. Now, has anything happened on the home front?
Well, we think we know who's behind the knife throwing. Kip Williams.
We've got him tied to the betting action against the Rock and to the knife thrower that killed Marcia Bingham by mistake. But Houston, what I don't understand is why would somebody bet against the Rock and then try to kill him?
Well, that's what's been throwing us all along, Murray. You see, they didn't really want to kill him. Marcia Bingham was the intended victim all the time.
But Houston, why?
Well, I'll explain all that later, but right now I've got to get my head under some cold water and get out of these clothes for your benefit and mine. Now, call Vance. Time to meet me at 5, all right?
Wallace throws it right to left. Another right, still another left to Woodcock's midsection. He throws it right to the head. Woodcock is staggered and he goes down. The crowd is going crazy. The count begins.
1 minute, champ.
If anything happens to me, I want you to promise me as my friend you'll make sure Janie's taken care of.
Don't even talk like that. You're the champ. You're gonna get it done, hear me? Come on.
Gentlemen, I can't make a prediction on this fight. I'm afraid that's all for now. The champ will talk to you after the fight, okay? Good night, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, Kip Williams. I'd like you to meet Police Lieutenant Novelli. This is Kip Williams. He's a bad guy.
What's all this about?
I believe it's called being arrested for murder.
Kip Williams, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. You made me lose my place. Now let's start all over again. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney.
I think you got everything handled here, Vance. I'm gonna go have a little chat with the champ.
Okay. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Houston. Hey, in case you haven't noticed, the Rock's due at a fight.
Well, maybe what I have to say will affect the fight.
Hey, there's no time now.
Even if I tell you I've solved the case?
All right, shoot.
The night Marcia Bingham was killed in that restaurant, she said she had something very important to talk to you about. And that's when she leaned over to you.
Yeah, well, I don't have the slightest idea what it was about, if that's what you're asking.
Is that right, champ? You see, I think you knew exactly what it was she wanted to talk to you about. Or at least you thought you did.
And now wait just a minute.
No, you wait a minute. Just wait. Now, you thought she wanted to talk to you about getting out of boxing like she'd done so many times before. But that wasn't it. You see, she's this man's nurse. She just wanted to tell you that she knew your secret.
What are you talking about? That's preposterous.
All right. You see, I got this problem. The doc here can tell you all about it, but what it boils down to is I get dizzy. And if I take the wrong punch, I buy the farm. I die. But man, I got bills to pay. What Kip Williams didn't steal from me just went. I knew you'd find out about it. That's why I didn't want you on this case.
So you thought you'd just take a nice, easy punch, huh? And just slide down for the count?
Leave me alone, Houston. I got a fight to lose.
Yeah, well, I'm sure glad you got good friends like the doctor here. I mean, to get you through the bad times. I mean, to give you the pills to get over those dizzy spells. And maybe those pills are what caused the dizzy spells. You ever think about that, huh? The night Marcia Bingham died, all she wanted to talk to you about was that she knew the real truth, that you were not sick at all. You're just fine. There's nothing wrong with you. See, the good doctor here and your promoter, they set you up. They made you think you were sick so you'd throw the fight. And I'll tell you something, partner. They've bet everything they've got on the other side of the fence.
Houston, you don't know what you're talking about. Rock don't believe a word he's saying.
You ready to go down for the count?
No more talking, Motormouth. The ring's that way.
Yeah. You're gonna be laying in it.
Quickly, circle once, and the challenger attacks, throwing 2 rights and a left. The champ ducks the right and comes back with a left, followed by a right, which sends the challenger into the ropes. These 2 men mean business, and this reporter would be very surprised if this contest goes short in the first round. Ooh, the challenger throws a right, which misses, and then another right to the champ's midsection. They are now standing in the middle of the ring, toe-to-toe, trading punches. Neither man is getting the advantage, but they're both taking terrific punishment. The champ now parries a jab, ducks a right, and floors the challenger with a thundering left. The challenger is down. But what's this? I don't believe it. He's back on his feet. The 2 lions are back in the middle of the ring, trading body blows. The champ gets an opening, lands a right to the stomach, a left to the jaw, another left, and the challenger comes back with a shot to the stomach, and the champ answers with a wicked 3-punch combination. The challenger is stunned. He tries to rally, but the champ lands a tremendous right to the head, staggering the challenger. And the champ throws another right, which sends the challenger to the mat. And it doesn't take an expert to know that he won't be getting up this time. The winner, and still champion of the world, Jerry the Rock Lennox.
Man, you got one hell of a ride.
The press thinks I'm just blowing smoke, but I mean it. I'm retired.
Well, you went out a champion. You can't really ask for any more than that, can you?
Well, I figure me and Jane can get it together. Maybe look for a couple kids on the way.
Sounds like a great idea.
Well, listen to you two. You got my life all planned.
If we'd kept them waiting any longer, they would have put us out to pasture.
Well, you know, as pretty as you two are, it was well worth the wait.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, take us out and show us off. Where are we going?
Well, I tell you, CJ, now, The Rock and I were talking this whole thing over, and, I mean, you both look beautiful. It's just that, see, we're a little frayed around the edges, so I thought...
Houston, you promised us dinner.
Dinner you want? Dinner you got?
Right.
Lay it all out on the bar. Presto, presto.
Rock, you're gonna love this food. It's just what I told you. I mean, it's great. Go on, dig in.
Spaghettini e I ravioli, eh? Oh, yes, Rock. E cannelloni e la lasagna.
Oh, you know, ever since I put on my first pair of gloves, I've had to watch my weight. I mean, I used to dream about food like this. Nightmares, really, because I knew I could never touch it. But no more.
I think he really is retiring.
Yeah, now I know he is.
Yeah, Mama, I tell you, you better send the fellas back for seconds, because I think this is going to turn out to be a night of championship eating, don't you?